Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, presented by the Business Courier. What's on the priority list for the new man in charge at the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber? The headquarters for a former Cincinnati beer baron has a new purpose. And eating well and creating jobs in Price Hill. U.S. Bank Business Watch is next. Good morning and welcome to U.S. Bank Business Watch. I'm Peg Rasconi. On the Business Courier front page centerpiece this week, a wide-ranging interview with Brian Carley, CEO of the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber. Carley is a man on a mission. He took over the nation's fifth largest chamber at a time when his predecessor's contract had not been renewed, and the chamber's economic development arm needed an overhaul. Carley covered issues including what CEOs believe need to be done. One answer, fix the Brent Spence Bridge. His belief that to make Ohio competitive, it is critical to get the Ohio income tax below 5%. A surprising endorsement of high-speed rail in Cincinnati. And the Chamber's newly named economic development program, READY, which stands for Regional Economic Development. The Chamber will still own READY, but new CEO John Reeder now reports to an independent board that includes Mayor John Cranley. The idea for READY is to get Cincinnati's chief executives more involved in recruiting businesses to come to town. Carley was a guest on U.S. Bank Business Watch recently and said the Chamber will move its headquarters in October.
I think 3 East 4th Street. It's a little 3-story building right on 4th Street. We're going to have the whole building, but we're going to share, and as they say, cohabitate with the Port Authority, READY Cincinnati, the CBC eventually, and the CRBC as well. They've got a few more months before they finish up their lease and join us.
After a 6-month search, the Chamber recruited Carley from Deloitte. He has deep Cincinnati ties, having been the giant accounting firm's local managing partner from 1997 to 2006. For more on Brian Carley and his vision for the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber, be sure to read reporter Chris Wetterick's interview in this week's print edition. The Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce has landed a well-known name in Kentucky politics as its next president. Former Kentucky Secretary of State and gubernatorial candidate Trey Grayson is returning to his home state to fill the role, taking over from Brent Cooper, who has been serving as interim president since the January departure of Steve Stevens. Grayson has been the director of the Harvard Institute of Politics, considered the top academic job in politics. The chamber will host a formal reception for Grayson on June 2nd at Northern Kentucky University. He will officially start the job in July. Urban living in Cincinnati continues to provide more options for buyers. As we've reported, 30 new luxury condos will be built in Hyde Park at the corner of Shaw and Observatory. The units, called 2770 Observatory, are selling fast, even though they're not built. They start at $700,000 and top out at $2 million. Rick Grywe, principal of Grywe Development, is overseeing the project at this prime corner in Hyde Park. He joins U.S. Bank Business Watch producer Kelly Leon in the studio with more on the development. Kelly and Rick.
Thanks, Peg. Rick, thanks for being here this morning.
A pleasure.
This corner, Shaw and Observatory, it's just a big empty field right now. Construction hasn't even started, and you've actually sold some of the units?
We've sold $7 million worth of units already.
That's amazing.
I think that the big reason is this is going to be an exceptional landmark at a gateway into Hyde Park Square. And we offer residents a chance to really express themselves through custom interiors, which is unique. And then you'll have an engaging life because you're just steps away from Hyde Park Square.
Who's the audience for this development?
Our target audience is empty nesters who want to downsize from a large home into a smaller space. But these units are 2,000 to 3,500 feet, so they're not small by any means. And we've designed them to accommodate that target audience's needs. Big rooms, large open spaces with the kind of space they're used to living in.
And yeah, one of the things I read is things like big open walls because they have artwork that they're bringing with them. That's something I would have never thought about.
And we've designed these to accommodate people that have a contemporary taste or a very traditional taste. We have casement windows that are 8 feet tall, lots of wall space for furniture and artwork, and you can really customize this the way you like, which is going to be fun for each resident.
And we're seeing more and more of this high-end condos going into urban areas. Can the community support this? Will they? I mean, obviously they're selling, so there must be a demand for it.
Yeah, my company, along with my partners, North American Properties and Sipsey Klein, only develop these kind of projects in neighborhoods that have active retail centers, because people aren't buying a condo, they're buying a lifestyle. So there's only a few of these neighborhoods in Cincinnati, and then of course downtown. So yes, there's plenty of demand.
How's the neighborhood accepting it? Any indication?
We've met with the neighborhood council and the business association. Everybody's very excited. This will be a very friendly neighbor. It's the same height as the Knox Presbyterian Church. It's going to have materials that are very complementary. The setbacks are just like Hyde Park Home, big 50-foot setbacks like a front yard. And all our parking is underground, so there's plenty of parking for the residents.
Oh, nice.
You get 2 spaces to 3 spaces depending on the size of your unit.
Yeah.
There's visitor parking on the premises, so we'll be a good neighbor.
And what's your timeline?
We're going to break ground in a couple weeks, and we'll have this finished by December of 2015. And people want to find out more about it, we have a very simple website called hydeparklifestyle.net, because that's how my company really promotes its projects. It's all about location and what kind of new life you're going to lead when you move to a place like this.
All right, well, it's very exciting. Best of luck with the project, and thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it.
Back to you, Peg.
All right, thanks, Kelly and Rick. There's a new senior housing project in Over the Rhine. The building at 1500 Elm Street was once home to Cincinnati beer baron Christian Moerlein. Dozens of people, including state and federal officials, attended the Over the Rhine Community Housing's ribbon cutting for the 15-unit building and hailed it as further progress in the neighborhood's rehabilitation.
The building was once owned by Christian Moerlein. So it has a lot of beautiful architectural features, including these stained glass windows that were painted over, and they're just amazing. And then most importantly to us is that it's senior housing, and the rents are affordable.
The building had to be extensively renovated and is fully leased. The rents are subsidized, so a person who qualifies pays only 30% of their income toward rent, which includes utilities. The Q&A in this week's Courier is with a man who gave up the chance to teach tennis in Hawaii to stay in Cincinnati and work in insurance. Rich Loneman is managing director for Nice Lukens. He's been with the insurance firm for 10 years and began his career with Great American Insurance right out of school, foregoing that shot at playing tennis in Hawaii. Nice Lukens has had plenty of success and is one of the city's top agencies. Part of that came from acquisitions. Nice Lukens is also preparing to move its headquarters.
We need to expand again. We keep growing, and we've run out of space here. So we're moving up to Kenwood Collection, and we were the first to sign a lease up in the Kenwood Collection with Phillips Edison.
Loneman says he expects growth to continue with even more mergers and acquisitions in the future. One of the largest privately held companies in Greater Cincinnati just got bigger. Devacor Medical Products has acquired the rights to technology that can mark the site of a biopsy so it can be easily spotted again if surgery is required. Devacor focuses on minimally invasive devices that help doctors diagnose and treat breast cancer.
So for us as a company, our whole goal is to try to figure out how to, once they diagnose it earlier, help the physician diagnose it faster, quicker. And with the changes in healthcare, you actually have to get a blend. So it has to be good for the patient now, it has to be good for the physician, and it has to be good for the provider.
The latest acquisition could create 2 to 10 jobs. The company has about 600 employees worldwide, including about 150 at its headquarters in Sharonville. A local startup is bringing some homegrown tastes to upscale restaurants. Waterfields grows edible microgreens at its warehouse in Lower Price Hill. It goes beyond that, though. The startup is based on a social mission to create sustainable, supportive jobs in the neighborhood.
And we chose to start with microgreens because it is a highly desirable crop by many chefs throughout the city. And we have visions for a much larger operation to take on new markets like lettuces, basil, other varieties of plants that can just serve to grow a lot more jobs.
Chef Julie Francis at Nectar in Mount Lookout is one of the local chefs partnering with Waterfields. Nectar has a monthly dinner club that selects a theme or ingredient and builds a 5-course menu around it. Waterfields had the opportunity to speak to members and promote its mission. Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, do you dream of owning your own business? We'll introduce you to two people who are living that dream. And another sentencing delay for this man convicted in a local Ponzi scheme. Some news you may have missed if you're not reading the Business Courier online every day or following on Twitter and Facebook. Glenn Guillermo, who pleaded guilty earlier this year to running what prosecutors called a Ponzi scheme that cheated investors out of more than $100 million, will be free for 3 more months. The Cincinnati investment advisor was scheduled to be sentenced this coming week, but the date has moved twice already and is now scheduled for August 27th. Guillermo pleaded guilty to 1 count each of wire fraud and money laundering and could get 8 to 15.5 years. He's free on bond until sentencing and lives in South Carolina near his wife's family. Rhinegeist Brewery is about to get bigger. The over-the-Rhine business is getting $6.5 million in tax credits from the state of Ohio. The money will be used for expansion of the current facility and investment in canning technologies that will allow it to grow. The new projects could create about 40 new jobs and retain 15 others. The new owners of Tri-County Mall have set aside $30 million for the first phase of the facility's revitalization project. The general manager laid out the group's plan at the International Council of Shopping Centers convention in Las Vegas. The vision includes a new entrance facing State Route 747 with space for outdoor dining. And Cincinnati was named one of the best cities for small businesses in a report from the National League of Cities. According to Big Ideas for Small Business, Cincinnati's local government makes small business development a priority and creates ecosystems that support small business growth. The report profiles the best practices of 12 cities with proactive initiatives to support small business ecosystems. Well, many of us have often dreamed of breaking away from corporate jobs and starting our own small business. There are many brave souls out there who have actually done it. Joining us this morning are two people who are living that dream. Marshall and Carolyn Remley have a home decor business called Pinecone Home. They're in the studio with our very own Jim Russell, U.S. Bank Wealth Management Senior Equity Strategist, to share their brave experience in this morning's U.S. Bank Economic 360.
Peg, thank you. We're very pleased to have Carolyn and Marshall Remley with us today. Thank you for sharing your story with us. So, Carolyn, you all had comfortable corporate jobs, you in television production, and Marshall, you in corporate finance. What made you maybe make that conversion, make that switch? What are the thought processes there?
As a associate TV producer, I always loved being creative, and I felt like sometimes in the corporate world my creativity was held back by having to go through levels of management to get any idea approved.
Right.
Now, if Marshall and I have an idea, it's up to us to execute it, and I really enjoy that freedom.
Understand.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to start my own business, but as I was sitting at my cubicle looking down the road in the career path, I thought, man, it's going to be 10 or 15 years before I actually get to make decisions that affect the bottom line. And so we decided, why not now?
So a little bit of room to breathe then, right?
Yep.
Right. So your company, Pinecone Home, is active in home decor type products. Why did you choose that?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. It really started when I was watching Carolyn both decorate our first home and plan our wedding. You know, she was looking for those unique products that, you know, reflected us. And she was really active on sites like Etsy and Pinterest, looking for, you know, just that perfect thing.
Right.
And it really opened my eyes to the opportunity there is for small-scale manufacturing to come in and, you know, provide those products that are going to be unique for people to decorate their homes with.
So your company's a new one, right? Opened last October. What's been maybe one of the larger surprises you didn't anticipate as you opened up your doors?
Yeah, I think that marketing has definitely been the most difficult thing for us. It's been the biggest surprise. I came at this from a corporate finance standpoint. You know, I'm very comfortable with spreadsheets, and so I thought, you know, this is easy. You just put a message out there, you measure it, all's good. Turns out that
not that easy.
Not that easy. Even though you can really target your message, and measure it in real time, you still have to have a fairly substantial marketing budget in order to attract the eyeballs to actually quantify trends.
So things are going well. What does your next phase of growth maybe look like? What are you targeting? What are the thoughts there?
Well, beyond our main goal of building traffic to pineconehome.com in order to create enough traffic for some statistically significant marketing ideas, we're also going into locally owned mom and pop type gift shops. And the popularity of our state-shaped picture frame, which we make in all states, kind of led us to create an entire collection of geography-themed things. I'm from Cincinnati. We love our hometown, and we think other people love their hometowns too. So we have, in addition to the state-shaped picture frame, we have bookends that kind of poke fun at the east side, west side neighborhoods of Cincinnati. A key holder with including the new Tiara building for keys, and then coasters that kind of represent the landmarks. Our wedding reception was at Union Terminal, so that holds a special place in our heart. And each city we feel like has those special places, and we feel like people would want to decorate their homes that reflect them.
How do we get a hold of you? What is the best way for someone who has interest in your product set to maybe look into a little bit more information?
Pineconehome.com is our online store. And in addition to that, we will be at the Oakley Fancy Flea on May 31st and the second Sunday on Main Festival and Over the Rhine all summer long, the second Sunday of every month. And we are also featured in the July-August issue of HGTV magazine.
Fantastic.
So,
congratulations on the strong start.
Thank you.
Look forward to maybe catching up in maybe a few months, a few quarters, see how things are progressing. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peg, back to you.
All right, thanks, Jim, and Pinecone Home, and props on the prop. Still to come on U.S. Bank Business Watch, making Pinterest work for your business. Tracy Wells, Development Director for the Talbert House, another of our 40 Under 40 honorees. Morning's Business Insight, the power of Pinterest, a national study commissioned by a Cincinnati startup that specializes in Pinterest marketing shows that brands cannot ignore the social network when strategizing for the internet. Pinterest allows users to pin or share images they like. Those images are organized into boards with themes such as recipes, cocktails, or summer fashion. Think of a digital corkboard with each pin linking back to the website where the image originated. The study was commissioned by Ahology, a Cincinnati startup that helps brands maximize their impact on Pinterest. Ahology President Bob Gilbreth joins Business Courier editor Rob Dawmeyer in the studio with more on how your business should be using Pinterest. Guys?
Thanks very much, Peg. Bob, thanks for being here this morning. First things first, I have to admit it, I don't know anything about Pinterest. I've heard it, of course, every other day, every other hour I'm hearing about it, but explain what Pinterest is, and then maybe let me off the hook by telling me maybe why I don't know more about it.
Well, it's okay to say that. As a man, Pinterest actually has about 85% of its use is by women.
Gotcha.
And I think the best way to think about what Pinterest is something that's a digital version of a habit women have been doing for years, which is reading through magazines, finding ideas, recipes, articles, ripping out the article and sticking it in a file folder for planning later.
Right.
So that's Pinterest, but the digital version. And the additional benefit has a great viral capability, so that every time that is pinned, other people get to see it too.
Including the brands of the people. If you love a fragrance, for instance, then that fragrance, when you rip out a magazine article and stuff it in this, the fragrance company can't do anything about that.
Exactly.
So how do businesses get involved in this? As you said, it started as sort of a place for women typically women to it's a virtual file cabinet for all of their great ideas and all the things they love, but turn that a bit for us and talk about the business angle.
Yeah, I think of it mainly as a media channel for content marketing. So if you are a food brand, people are looking for recipes, and they're going to Pinterest more than anything else. About a lot of the traffic on Pinterest is someone looking for a recipe. So if you're a brand like Kraft or a company like Kellogg's, share great content that people are actively looking for. Doing that gets them into saying, hey, maybe I'll use your product to make what I'm looking for dinner tonight. And that's what's really amazing, is that finally we have a digital media where we're adding value to it through marketing, not just finding a new way to interrupt people.
Yeah, in the study that you did, what did you find, or what have you noticed that, you know, frankly, this is self-serving for your company, but you know, you told me before we went on, there's not a lot of competition out there, but what are you finding on the study?
Well, what we're finding is the main reason we did the study is Pinterest is in the process of launching its first paid model. Right. And some of our companies, including big companies like Procter & Gamble, you know, said, hey, where should we be moving our dollars? You know, who's this person and what are they doing less of? So we commissioned the study, and we found that this is a millennial mom, so people who are thinking digital first, who grew up digital. They're using it mobile. 75% of Pinterest is mobile. Wow. And of that, about 52% of active daily type Pinterest users are pulling this up in store. So now we have the digital shopping list that you see again and again, what to make for dinner tonight at the Kroger, what to buy in the Macy's. This is how they're using it today, and it's exciting to finally have some data.
So last question real quick, what specifically does your company do? Do you provide, what kind of tools are you providing?
It's really, we get involved as we're really the only Pinterest optimization company. Yeah. So we're doing everything from providing content, optimizing it to make sure we get in front of the right people at the right time, and then helping convert to a sale after that click. Right. And using data to make it work harder and harder every day.
Perfect. Hey, you're off to a great start. You said, what, about 40 employees right now?
40 people here, yeah.
Can't wait to hear more about you.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Bob. Peg, back to you.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. Great insights there. And thank you for joining us this morning for U.S. Bank Business Watch. We'll be back next Sunday and every Sunday morning at 6:30 here on Local 12 and at 10 a.m. on the CW. For more business news all week long, visit the Business Courier online and sign up for daily emails and follow on Twitter and Facebook. The address is cincinnatibusinesscourier.com. I'm Peg Rasconi. Have a great Sunday and enjoy the long weekend.